all great breakthrough thinking about how humans evolved, for instance, has to do with long-term generational thinking. We have to get into long-term generational thinking. This is how we're going to solve housing. This is how we're going to solve all sorts of big problems in our societies. We got to think beyond this financial quarter. Unfortunately, that's not the way that we are incentivized right now. It's not even how our circuitry is supposed to work. I got to spend some time with a very amazing tribe in deep Tanzania, way out in the middle of nowhere, Tanzania, called the Hadza. And they're one of the last remaining tribes on earth that lives the way we all did like 60,000 years ago. They have no last names, they have no property, there's no marriage, and they are nomadic. They don't raise crops or anything. And they have some shelter they return to every so often, but for the most part, they're just nomadic. And one of the most amazing things about them that I learned is they have no word for any number beyond 5. Because why would you need that, right? In the way that our brains are built, you don't need to be thinking more than 5 moons in the future. You don't need to count the number of people in a group. Once it's more than 5, you know whether it's your family or not. And then you can just say it's lots of people, right? There's 3 pieces of meat or there's enough for everybody, right? And so we're just not, and this is the whole thesis of my book, is like, we're not built to think beyond the circle of our campfire. We are built to only think about short-term instinctive decision. And so the idea that we're suddenly, you've got people at a time when the fashion is not to be thinking particularly humanistically, building systems that reach 800 million people a week, right? We're just not made for that kind of decision making. And that's where some of our higher functioning needs to come into play. And that higher functioning doesn't taste good like
Right.
cheesecake. It doesn't
Right.
feel good, and it doesn't make you money in the short term. And so that's the essential problem I think we're going to be facing in this generation and the next is, how do we balance what used to be a set of standards that could still allow you? I remember in San Francisco, you may be old enough too to remember, I think it was University of San Francisco had a business program, and the ads around town all said, "Do well while doing good."
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
And I think that was the idea, that you could be both of those things. And, as a journalist, every company I bump into has somebody whose job it is to keep everybody feeling like their work is saving the world. Like it's just like, it's like a function, it's a job function. People and culture is what they call that a lot of the time. Right. And so I just don't know that that's proving to be true. And I think that we're going to need a different way of thinking about it. And I wish I could tell you it's going to be rewarding, in the way that we can traditionally think of rewards. But I think we're going to have to think about rewards in a different way, and that's where I'm a little bit stuck right now.